Crimson Tide and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is the Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Friday, start to your weekend. We look forward to having you for the next 2 hours or so here on the show. And we got some interesting stuff to dive into on a free-for-all Friday. Now, obviously we've been doing a lot of talk kind of all over the place this week because, it's the last true week of the dog days of summer chase. Believe it or not, they're pretty much over. I mean, technically, next week and the few weeks after that are still summer, but once training camp really hits, which it will next week, I mean, I would say that the dog days of summer are pretty much done. Not for those guys. They're kind of just really getting started. They're going to be going through some dog days for sure. But for us here, from a talking standpoint, from a media standpoint, talking football, man, our dog days of summer are pretty much done because then the fun begins, right? We're going to really be able to dive into some football talk, have plenty of things to discuss as training camps get kicked off. Obviously, NFL training camps have already started. College not far behind. They will be kicking off this upcoming week and moving forward. So definitely looking forward to talking football there. Looking forward to going up there, seeing the guys get after it. Man, it's always fun just kind of getting back to the facility and seeing everybody. A lot of familiar faces there, obviously, but always good just to be around the guys, see, what's going on, man. What's going on in Mal Moore on the practice field, man. You got to love it. You got to love it, man. A lot of great memories there, and it's always fun every year getting back up there. Plus, I got some exciting news for you guys, man. So, as you guys always are asking, man, y'all love having, interviews and guests come on the show. And I told you guys, and you ask and you shall receive. I don't know why I couldn't just say that very simple phrase. But anyway, good news is, man, we're going to have some stuff coming at you, especially now that football is really kicking off. And we're going to kick it off Monday, where we'll be joined by Alabama safety Bray Hubbard. He's going to hop on the show. We're going to talk some football, real laid back stuff. But I definitely want to, pick his brain on, really just how he's got to this point in his career. Again, this is a former quarterback converted to a safety, and now he's one of the top safeties in the country. A guy that, kind of flew under the radar initially when he first got here, man. And now he's the talk of the town, not just around here, but nationally. And obviously he's stepping into more of a leadership role this upcoming season. He's a true vet. He leads by example, great leader all around. And obviously his play speaks for itself. So we're going to be honored to have him hop on the show and talk some football, talk what they've got going, what his expectations and goals are for this upcoming season. We'll do that Monday. Again, Alabama safety Bray Hubbard will be joining us on the show Monday. So we're kicking off training camp week with a bang, man. We got Bray coming on, and we're definitely got a lot of good stuff planned for you guys moving forward, especially, going through training camp and in the season, man. We're going to have a lot of folks coming on here. We're going to talk a lot of football. So make sure you guys are ready for that, which I know you guys are going to be really excited. So I'm really excited because I know you guys enjoy it. And it's always fun when we're able to do some fun stuff on the show and get some fun, fun guests on here and have a good time talking football. So be ready for that, man. A lot of interesting, fun, exciting stuff coming up. In terms of what we got for you guys today, man, well, we got a number of things. It's a free-for-all Friday, so we're going to touch on a number of things. But one thing in specific, Chase, that came up, well, there's really two, right? I'll start with the first thing. Yesterday, a little bit after we got off the show, man, it seems that Trump has circled back with this whole saving college football thing. Initially, as you guys remember, the alleged committee, I guess, was created shortly after President Trump had attended the graduation ceremony here in Tuscaloosa. There was the big shockwave of Nick Saban being named co-chair along with the big booster guy from Texas Tech. We thought we were going to see something with that. Coach Saban I feel like Coach Saban kind of not sabotaged it, but you get what I'm saying. Coach Saban kind of was like, I don't really know about this whole committee. I don't think we really need it. And it obviously went south from there. It kind of fell apart, right? Well, yeah, he circled back to it. And now, President Trump is taking another swing at trying to save college sports, this time with federal action, right? Not just a committee, but some federal action. And we'll talk about what that means and what it could mean for college athletics in general. But it seems like he's trying to move forward with some other type of action that could somehow help college football and quote unquote save it, right? So we'll see if he can save the day. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Another thing that we got to circle back to, guys, is Coach Saban, right? Speaking of coach, well, Coach Saban, obviously, well, let me backtrack. His former quarterback, Greg McElroy, came on his radio show and had some groundbreaking, I guess, I don't know if you call it news, rumors. You should call them rumors that Coach Saban hadn't completely hung him up yet, allegedly, according to one of his closely trusted sources, right? That was Greg McElroy that said that. Well, Coach Saban has responded, and he spoke for himself. He was on Fox News, I believe. He was doing a quick little video interview on Fox News, and they actually asked him about his plans moving forward and if he truly is done coaching. And, you know, I'll say this, Chase. I mean, the answer he gave was interesting, right? And I'm not trying to clickbait you guys, but I'll just say this. I mean, as you can probably guess what his answer was, yes, it's along those lines. I don't want to spill it too quick, but if you read between the lines, Chase, I don't know. And maybe that's just me being a little, I don't know. I don't know if you call it optimistic, or maybe I'm just looking too deep into it, right? I'm a deep thinker, so maybe that's what I'm doing here. But we'll listen to his response, we'll read his response, and we'll respond to it. Maybe I'm going to ask you guys if you feel the same way I feel, because I feel like his response kind of, I don't know, it's very interesting. There's a couple of things in there that made it seem a little interesting. So anyway, we'll get into that. Plus, plenty more on this Free-for-All Friday. Obviously, a couple of things to dive in. I know Deontay Lawson had sat down with Roger Hoover, with our friends over on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And obviously, it'd be pretty nice to hear from the signal caller on the defense, get his thoughts on this upcoming season. We heard from him, obviously, in media days, but this was a recent interview he did, I think yesterday or the day before, Roger Hoover. So we might circle to that and hear just a couple clips from that as we look forward to close this week out and then move into training camp week, which kicks off next week, which we're going to kick off with having Bray Hubbard here on the show. That being said, we got to hit our first time out. When we come back, we'll get started on this Free-for-All Friday. Always urge you guys, 205-342-9904, to join in on the conversation. If you guys got anything that you want to offer, any questions you might have, man, shoot them at us. We'd be glad to take them. Plus, you guys can always download that Tide 100.9 app and leave your app messages right there where we can read those live on air. They've got plenty of features, too, where if you do want to call in, you can hit that button, right, and immediately call in. Or what you can do is if you don't have time, you don't have time to hold, right, you can actually leave a voice message, and we can just play the voice message, and it's the same thing. We'll discuss that here on the show. And lastly, but not least, of course, we are streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook at the Tide 100.9 page on Facebook, on YouTube at the Miller's Edge. So if you guys prefer the visuals and you guys want to watch me do the show and see everything that I can throw on screen for you as we watch the videos and break stuff down, come hang out with us on YouTube or Facebook at Tide 100.9, man. You can join in on the conversation. We got the chat going. You guys can interact, drop your questions, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't already. Quick timeout. We get started on this Free-for-All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport experts. We'll be right back.
The Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230 Sports Radio studio is presented by B-Dry Alabama.
Tristan, what's up, man? I know you heard what Ty said, time to compete. You talking about the video that we were talking about the other day? If that's what you're talking about, yeah, we played it, man. Yeah, he had a nice little video he dropped. I think it was like a marketing agency that he's with. It's called like Quarterback Reps or something. Efron, what's up, man? Mike, I don't know if that was a typo. It would sap them all. I don't know what that means, Mike. I mean, I speak Spanish, but that ain't Spanish or English. Yes, sir. What is that? What is that little emoji you got there from? Man, am I getting old that I don't know what those emojis are? Man, maybe I'm getting old, man. Maybe I'm getting old. Where y'all want to start, man? What do you want to start? We want to start with a new executive order from Trump. You guys want to start with the Coach Saban thing? I say we start with the Coach Saban thing. Then we'll dive into some of that executive order stuff in a little bit. I say we do that. But yeah, Tristan, we were supposed to have Ty was going to be on with us yesterday, man. Dang, Mike, you must be typing short, fat, what's happening. I'm assuming short for what's happening. Wait, maybe I am old, or maybe I'm too young to know that. Sapping and all. I guess I can see it, right? What's happening, y'all? Sapping them. Wait, sapping them all. I don't know. Has anybody else heard that? I don't think I've ever heard that before. Let me get this Coach Saban video potted up. Get this potted up. Here we go. All right, we got Saban potted up, so we'll start there. We'll roll from there. Sapping and all. Did you see the kid from Memphis who said who sold his playbook? Oh yeah, that was another thing I wanted to hear. I appreciate that, Mike. Yeah, matter of fact, I think you tagged us in that. Yeah, I saw that, man. That's crazy, man. You talk about selling out. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, he got caught in 4K too. This is what you're talking about, Mike. That's crazy. I mean, I wonder like what his teammates are thinking. I mean, they probably knew he was that type of dude, though. If somebody, bro, he must have really got done dirty at that school.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Yo, that's wild. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Experts, home of your arch supports designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain in just 4 short weeks, man. You got to check them out, guys, if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? Midtown Village right here in Tuscaloosa or anywhere near you, really. They're nationwide. Go to their website, goodfeet.com. You can schedule an appointment, but walk-ins are welcome and encouraged. But you can also type in your zip code, find the nearest location to you. But these things, man, are game changers. I'm talking just throw them in your shoes and they get to work. If you've ever been dealing with, foot pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, you name it, these things will take care of it. And I'm telling you, that's as simple as it gets, man. Throw them in your shoes and let them get to work, man. You will feel more balanced, more fresh, and all that stuff than ever. Trust me, man. These things are game changers. I recommend them to everybody. You don't have to be just a former athlete or somebody got banged up, over years and years of a contact sport. Anybody that deals with this pain, man, you can definitely benefit from these. So check them out. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. And here we go. We're about to improve the quality of your life. 2 hours at a time, but we already got about an hour and 38 left as we're rolling on this free-for-all Friday. All right, here we go. So I have this pulled up on the screen. We're going to jump back into this in a little bit, but this is what Mike had shared with us. And I don't know if you guys saw this already, but allegedly, and of course, On3, man, On3, they're like the TMZ, I feel like, of college athletics sometimes. They get their hands on all this stuff. Allegedly, you got a former Memphis defensive back. I mean, they got his name and everything. I mean, they're really telling all. Taj Rael. Pretty cool last name. Taj Rael. Allegedly, he's a defensive back, but he was allegedly busted sending his defensive playbook / I don't know, intel, right, to the UTSA quarterback Owen McCown, and this allegedly came before a game. Now, Road Runners ended up winning 44-36, but still, but I mean, this is nuts, man. I'll say this: I'm sure, like in the NFL, guys have been cut, right, and they go to a new team, and you guys know sometimes guys will get cut and they get picked up by a team that they're about to face. Wouldn't shock me if they're kind of obviously saying like, "Hey, like." This is what those guys like do. Like that actually wouldn't shock me. That happens, right? Like, matter of fact, us with Carolina. We had signed, I can't remember who it was. We signed a guy. He played for a team we were about to play, and he was a special teams guy. So literally our special teams coach called him up like early in the week as we were game planning, and the dude gave us a whole breakdown, basically saying, all right, man, if you hear them call out this to the right, they call out this to the left. They like to cover from this, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So that's common, right? It happens, at least on the pro level. This is kind of confusing to me. I mean, this dude from Memphis, I mean, as you can see at the top of the image here, again, I'm showing this on the stream. I mean, he sent screenshots of a playbook, and he says that's all the signals. Quarterback's laughing, right? And then he literally goes in detail, right? Far left is coverages. And then he says, I'll send you a better list showing you the call. Like, is this his homeboy? Did the guy pay him? I mean, did he just get done dirty? I'm confused, man. But they run quarters, and none of the safeties can cover, by the way. He's taking shots at his teammates. No reroutes on the slot. The field safety is the weakest link in the defense. His hamstrings hurting. Yo, this is crazy. But he's running out of eligibility. So when you play him, he's number 0. I mean, bro, there's no way this dude could walk back in the locker room. Like, I'm trying to figure. Chase, do you know was he off the team at this point? Do you know that much?
I believe so. They said he was a former Memphis Tiger. I don't know if he's still on the roster.
Yeah, so the article it says former, but I don't know if they mean like now because he's not on the team now. But at the time of him sending this, I wonder if he was on the team. But I mean, that's kind of crazy. If he was still on the team, man, that's nuts. There's no way this dude could step foot back. Well, he's not there now, so he don't have to worry about it now. But I mean, that's nuts, man. He was previously reported to have left the team in October. Oh, okay. But a source close to Memphis tells Tiger Sports report that he was dismissed from the team, adding more context for an alleged motive. Sorry. So I hadn't clicked on the full article yet, but now I have, and it makes sense. So he was dismissed from the team, and that's why he was seeking vengeance on those guys, and he was exposed and all this stuff, whatever. But that's crazy, though. And I mean, he even took shots at his teammates, said, hey, this dude's the weakest link. And he took it a step further, Chase. He said, and he's got to pull a hamstring, man. Go at him. That's crazy. Let's see. A former player from Memphis 2024 said, we're on the field and their offense has a check for every single one of our defensive checks. Wow. Allegedly, they tried to get Rael to comment, but he declined. Wow. So that's interesting stuff, man. That's interesting stuff. Ephraim in the chat on YouTube says this could get him in legal trouble. If you sign like an NDA. I don't know if you're signing NDAs in college like that. To be honest, I was never made aware of that. I probably guess should have paid attention to everything that I signed on that NIL or NLI letter of intent. But nah, I don't think it would really be anything like that. I think it's just kind of unfortunate that you have a guy that would do that. But I'll be honest with you, he's definitely not the first person to have done something like this. I can imagine there's probably a number of guys that felt a type of way about their previous program and, maybe reached out or they knew somebody. Like I said, in the NFL, it definitely happens. If a guy gets cut and he gets picked up by a team and that new team is facing his old team, they always ask that guy, like, if he's got any intel. Like I said, I just gave the example from the Panthers. Like, I vividly remember we signed a guy and literally in that special teams meeting, he was literally telling us everything they like to do. Now, did it make some like grand, give us some grand advantage, right? I mean, we definitely had like the drop on some of that stuff, but it's not like we just completely dominated them the whole time. But yeah, I mean, I guess it probably did give us some slight advantage. But I remember also in that game, they also kind of switched some stuff up because I remember us coming on the sideline like, yeah, I don't think this is like 100%, right? I don't think everything that we're going off of that he told us is really checking out. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Again, Mike sent us that on X. So if you guys ever have any stories or videos, things you guys want us to check out, man, hit us up on X at the Miller's Edge. Again, that was from Mike. So shout out to Mike. But yeah, I saw that, man. And I just laughed when I saw it because it's the detail he goes in. It wasn't just like, hey man, like, bro, I'm just like, maybe if he didn't even send in a message, he just sent dude like the signal thing and just left it. I mean, that's still petty, but it's like bet. But the fact that he's going into detail, like, bro, the safety's the weakest link, and he's got a hamstring injury and running out of eligibility. Like, to me, this sounds like some skit, like off of, I don't like Key and Peele or something. Like, it's a joke, bro. It's a joke. That being said, all right, we do need to dive into this Coach Saban conversation, right? So here's what we'll do, because we're about due for a break. 205-342-9904. That is the number to the phone lines if you guys want to hop on there. I'll remind you about that. But we'll take this time out when we come back. We'll get Coach Saban's response to his former quarterback's big rumors that he's dropped about his coaching career allegedly not officially being done. Well, we heard from the horse's mouth. Coach Saban joined Fox News. We got that video potted up for you guys, so we'll play that when we come back after this quick timeout right here on Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. We'll be right back. Wow, man. Wild stuff. No wonder the Big 12 didn't want Memphis. Chat, what's up, man? Yeah, 37. Counting down. It's going to fly by, too. It'll be here before you guys know it, too, man. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, though. Thought they used tablets. You mean like tablets for installs and stuff? That's actually a really good question. So, yes and no. Actually, no, it's both. So, and I can only imagine it's probably even more tech-based, right? But like when I was here, when I was with Carolina, like when you show up, you get an iPad for install, right? But they still did we still did paper install both places. But you had your iPad where you could pull up the install, but the iPad was used so that we could watch our film, right? We could watch tape on it. And they're smart. The programs that we started using, they could track the number of hours that guys were logged on. And they still can do this. So like they could tell who was going home and watching extra tape. And there's been time guys would lie, like people, the coach would be like, Joe, y'all watch some tape over the weekend? Everybody's like, yeah. He asked people. He already knows who logged in and who didn't. But then we still used to get paper installed too. Like, so we had our, like when I was here, let me talk on Alabama first before it gets confusing. We all had our individual iPads to watch tape, but they also uploaded the install there. But every meeting, they always gave us physical paper copies of install. And then every training camp, every year we got, matter of fact, damn, I actually used to have one right here in this corner. I put it up. I can go grab it at some point, but I'm not going. Well, actually, it's an old playbook. Maybe I'll show y'all one sheet just so y'all can see what it looks like. Because it's from our defense, like Coach Saban's defense. It wouldn't be relevant now, but every training camp we used to get install binder. Like a binder, and I'm not exaggerating. When I say it literally was the width of my head, like I'm not exaggerating. The install binder was that thick. So we would get that day one in training camp every single year. I think I kept most of mine. And a matter of fact, one of my teammates, he was getting rid of a bunch of stuff. He was like, he said, you want these install things to have them? I was like, why not? So I know I got I have another one too, though, because it was from another year. Because I like keeping on to that stuff. Number one, for the memories, but two, obviously, I want to touch up on some football stuff. Obviously, it's different. Defenses are different. But still, those installs we have. You talk about every type of breakdown, bro. It's like a football Bible.
Instruction at
least the ones that we used to get, the ones that we used to get from Alabama. Now Carolina's install.
John Tide 100.9.
Yeah, C. Rogers, he'll be back on a lot more during the season. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I see C. Rogers in the chat. He says, what's up, guys? He's like, missed the takes from Pastor Payne. Will he be back live during the season? Well, if you guys stay consistent, you'll know he comes on here still. He's still on here. He's on a couple times a week. He just jumps in and out. There's no set schedule. So make sure you guys tune in every day because you don't know when you're going to catch him. But to answer your question, yes, at least he said, right now, I'm not going to lie to you, man. You got to take what he says with a grain of salt, man, because he's kind of all over the place. But he said he will be on here a lot when it comes to, football being back around. Now, granted, to be fair, he's preaching at what's it called? I can't remember the name of the church. I'm sorry, but he's preaching at a church in Greenville now, which he does like every weekend. Like he's actually pastoring now. I know his name is Pastor Payne, but he really was more of a minister, right? Going around speaking, doing different things. But a few months ago, he took on like an actual pastor role again. So he's pastoring a church. So that's why his schedule's been a little bit busier and he's had a lot of stuff. But the good news is throughout the week, he's got a lot more time now. Obviously, he's still prepping and doing stuff for the church, but he should be able to squeeze in plenty of time to hop on the show. That being said, you asked hosting or the telephone, I want him to host with you. Hey, man, we all want a lot of stuff, brother. I mean, look, if you want to hire him and try to convince him to take a step back from the pastor stuff, you're more than welcome to do that. But to answer your question, I mean, anytime he comes on, he joins the stream, right? So I don't know if you've listened to us in the past or it's been a while or what, but the format we do now, obviously we're live on radio. Like right now we're live on radio. We've always been a radio show. That's the main platform. We are a radio show. I know people get confused. We are a radio show, but simultaneously we stream on our YouTube channels. So sometimes people get caught up like thinking it's still like the podcast stuff we used to do, which we will do some of that in terms of like post-game shows or like prepping, give you guys intel in terms of like what to expect, game week, breaking opponents down. We plan on doing some more of that like we used to do because I know we've got a lot of listeners from that side of things when we used to do that on YouTube. But yes, we will do some of that. But yes, when he comes on here to answer your question, he just joins the stream, and he's right here just like how I am. So you'll be able to see him like that. But it sounds like you you want every piece of the pastor of Payne. Sometimes he might call in. Again, he kind of marches to the beat of his own drum. So again, you got to take that up with him. But he will be on here a lot more this upcoming year. And when he is on here, he just pops on the stream, and you can just see him on the screen right there. So I think you'll be happy, C. Ryder. So be prepared. That's coming up soon. But like I said, just stay consistent because, I mean, I don't have a schedule for him. I wish I did, but I don't. So I can't tell you guys like when he'll be here, when he's not going to be here. Really, it kind of just it just happens. His takes are real, no BS. I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Do y'all think let me ask a serious question. Do y'all think just because I guess present my takes a certain way, y'all think mine are BS? I'm genuinely asking. If you think so, that's fine. I'm just curious. Because we had this other dude called the other day. He was like, I wanted to talk to him because I know how he kind of thinks I'm like, I mean, funny enough, if you listen to what we say, half of it is, pretty much damn near the same. It's just I present mine in a different way. Arthur said, no, your takes are no BS. That's what I was saying. I get it. I think people like he's the real raw, like he's not dressing up and presented in a certain way. Me personally, I choose to go about it a certain way. Number one, I played here. It's a little bit different. If your takes are lukewarm, soft. Listen, brother, I mean, I played here, right? Number one. Number two, I work with the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So the last thing I want to do is go trash or, you know what I mean? Like really go hard on the team that I played for. Again, and it's funny, I was just talking about this other day because there's different approaches to this. It's actually a good point to bring up. I was just talking about this. You got some guys that take the approach kind of like how my dad's approaches. I mean, like he's going to have no filter. He's going to say exactly what he thinks. And he's just, real raw. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, that's just how we've been talking a lot about Cam Newton. Cam Newton kind of takes that approach. Me personally, right? And it's not because I have it's not like I can't do it. No. Yeah, I was about to say, it's not like Bama pays me direct. No. I'm not getting paid by Alabama. I mean, I work with the network. What I'm saying is I have a respect for the program because number one, I played here. Number two, yeah, like I do work with the network here. But that being said, no, I could still say what I want to say, but I just know what comes with that. The last thing I want to do is is go out and come off like I'm. Because to me, this is how I look at it, man. Like, again, it's easier for my dad to be like that because he didn't go play this. He didn't play here at Alabama. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, he's a big Alabama fan through me. He supported me, and then ever since I came here, he's a big Alabama guy, right? But it's a lot different. That would be like if I'm breaking down South Carolina. I don't have any ties to that university. It'd be way easier for me to just be real raw when I'm breaking down all these other programs because I didn't play there. Just like with him. He's real and raw with South Carolina, but listen to how when he does talk about them, he does what I do. He still will bring up the negatives, but he leans heavy in those positives. Why? Because he played there. It makes sense. So, I mean, I wouldn't say my takes are soft or anything like that, but I will agree with you. Like, no, I don't beat up on us like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just, like I said, there's just an approach to it, and there's not a right or wrong way to do it. Just the way that I prefer to do it, I like being more just like Coach Saban. Would you say that Coach Saban's takes are soft? Because I've never heard him be extremely critical of the university. So I personally like modeling my takes and my analysis kind of how Coach Saban does it. Matter of fact, not just with the university, Coach Saban doesn't over-criticize anybody. He does a good job being unbiased. He will bring up, the points that need to be addressed if he's giving a breakdown on a player or a team. Right? He doesn't shy away from that, even when he talks about Alabama. If he says they need to be more disciplined, they need to be more disciplined. But he's not going to just go hard on it. I wouldn't agree with that. This guy says, Chase, this guy says Saban's takes are more like my dad's than mine. When talking about Alabama, that's let me ask you guys in the chat, and I'm asking Chase this. Then Chase, give me your honest answer. Don't say it because it's me. I'm genuinely asking. And I promise, I'm not taking this personal. No, this is a good conversation. I like the conversation. It gives me a chance to kind of explain, so you guys have an idea, like, where my takes come from, right? Because I don't want people to think that I'm just saying stuff to appease people. No, I don't do that. That's not true. I give my honest takes, but it's my delivery that I choose to be a little bit more conscious of. Chase, what would you say? Would you say that Coach Saban is more aligned with how my dad gives his takes or differently? Chase, hello? Okay, so I guess Chase doesn't have an opinion on that, but we'll see what Arthur says. Chase, we got to get you to listen. Can you guys hear me at least?
Christian, you there?
Yeah, you got to listen, man. I'm talking to you. Can you hear me?
No, the connection went out. I couldn't hear you.
All right. I feel like we have that every day. We got to be better about that. Arthur says, not even close. Christian takes are closer to Saban. And then Fromm says, Saban constantly fighting complacency with this team. Justin says, I like takes of the both of you and the pastor. You're not quite as harsh as a pastor. He don't really take people's feelings into consideration. I feel like you do it when it comes to Alabama. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. It's, again, I want to be clear. It's not like trying to wrap it up a certain way. What it is well, no, actually, it's more. It's not trying to like, oh, I'm not trying to hurt feelings. No, it's more so like, I just am a firm believer that you can get your point across without doing it in an attacking manner. And I'm not saying my dad does it in an attacking manner. Let me be clear. But I'm saying, like, when you look at the stuff with like Cam, or you look at the stuff with like Ryan Clark and those guys, I'm saying on the national level, or like Stephen A. I love Stephen A. It's entertaining, and that does make it entertaining. And that's why, like, people love this show, because my dad is more on the harsh, the real, kind of a little critical side of things, right? And then you have me. And I wouldn't necessarily say good cop, bad cop, but it kind of resembles that just a little bit. You get what I mean? And I think that's what brings entertainment to it. So the other deal is, part of my role is kind of being more on that side. If we both sounded like how he sounded, this show would sound completely like we're just going hard on it. That's too much, in my opinion. And like Arthur said, some people want the nothing but flowers approach. I don't want that either, right? Because with all due respect, I feel like a lot of coverage of Alabama, like, that's what you get. It's just like everybody just talks about every single perfect scenario, and to me, like, that's not very credible, right? So I don't want it like that. I don't know. My process has always just been be honest, be transparent, be unbiased, right? I am unbiased. You guys hear me say it all the time. If there's things Alabama needs to do better, I say it all the time. I don't hesitate. But what I do is instead of saying like, oh, we were terrible like that. No. I say we need to play better. Like that's a great example. Those are saying the same thing. One person could say, oh, this unit is terrible. Another person could say, this unit needs to improve and be better. It's literally saying the same thing, but in a different manner. You get what I'm saying? And I choose to do the latter versus the former, especially when it comes to, again, bro, I bleed crimson, bro. You know how much I got sweat equity here, man. C says, you're a great guy. I was coached by guys like your dad. That's what I know. Yeah, and again, but that's what makes it good having both of us, because we got a lot of people that do like that. He's going to sit there and punch his points in there, right? And a lot of people get hyped from that, and they like it. It's like resonating. But at the same time, I think there's also a methodical approach to it that you can take. And I think when you do that, it just, number one, it adds balance. Number two, that's just me. That's just what I like to do. But anyway, it's funny we got into a whole thing about that. But that was actually really, really good conversation, because it allows me to express, where my takes come from. Because again, we're about to get into football coming up big time, and you're going to hear take after take after take. We're going to dive into this stuff. Now you guys have a background on kind of my philosophy with it. But again, I just want to close by saying this: just because I'm saying it in a lighter way, right, does not take away the point that I'm making, right? If we're, and I'm serious when I say this, if we need to be better, or we're not playing well, we're not doing something well, I will make note of that, right? I just choose to do it in a little bit more of a what I call respectful, professional manner, because that's how I want my stuff to be viewed. Again, that's just my opinion. That's that. But it's not like, oh, he's being paid off. No. It's not that, man. Trust me. This show will always be about having credible knowledge with football, breaking it down to you guys so you guys can learn and get our opinions on it. We will never, ever just say things just to appease people. No. I might word it in a way that's lighter on people, but I'll never just say stuff to appease people. So, yeah. But that was a really good stuff. But anyway, with all that being said, man, we will have the pastor Payne on here. Good deal, especially during the season. He'll have his takes, right? And if anything, you might be surprised, because it sounds like you haven't been here in some time. Last time he was on here, not last time, but he was on here last week. We had Kalen DeBoer on here for an interview. And after that interview, man, some might say he got a little soft. I'm not going to lie to you, because what his stance that he has on Alabama right now is, I'm not going to lie to you, it might not be what you would expect. So you, if anything, might even be thinking he's gotten soft, because where he's at with Alabama right now, he's actually pretty high on Alabama. And I'm not going to lie to you, it even caught me off guard. Thanks for the conversation. Oh, yeah, no, thank you, bro. Like I said, that's not personal at all. No. I love the insight, man. No, that's good stuff, man. Great conversation. I appreciate you guys. That being said, we do need to hit a timeout. And what we'll do is we'll I promise we're getting into this Coach Saban thing, because we need to get an answer on it. We'll get this answer on it, and we'll play that video when we come back. Is Coach Saban truly done with coaching? We'll hear from him himself on a video when we come back after this quick timeout right here. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along
Yeah, Dwight. He said he had us at 2 in the SEC, man. Which I know, probably doesn't sound like crazy, but if you know my dad, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive that he's really coming around. I say it like that, but again, I think there's a misconception. The dude, he pulls for Alabama. When I say coming around, I mean like he's like buying into what we got, even with some of the question marks. I think I forgot the way he said it was. Well, we brought Coach DeBoer on here. We interviewed him, and then we finished up with that. And he said he would have Alabama 1 and 2, or 2 behind Texas. He'd have Texas 1, Alabama 2. And I asked him, I was like, whoa, where'd that come from? I was like, is that because we just talked with Coach DeBoer? Because I'll be honest, last year we were up at practice and we talked with Coach DeBoer for like at least 20 minutes after practice. And I remember after that, he came back on the show. Because he was hammering the 8-4 last year. We talked with Caitlin DeBoer for like 20 minutes after practice when he was in town, when my dad was in town. And he came on the show the next week or whatever and was like, he bumped it to 9-3. So I was joking with him. I'm like, wait, it's a common theme. Every time you talk with KD, it's like you bump things up. But he's like, no. I think what it was is we had Roman Harper on the show Friday. So the Friday before last, we had Roman on. Then we had Coach DeBoer on Tuesday. But I think it was kind of a culmination of the two. But Roman said some good stuff. And Roman had predicted that we would be in the SEC championship. And my dad respects Roman a lot, right? Obviously, we're tight with Roman. We've known him for a long time. And obviously, my dad respects his opinion. I think I guess my opinion wasn't good enough to sway him. I guess he kind of thinks like, I think he thinks I'll just say things, right? Because I'm an Alabama guy. But I think when he heard Roman kind of talk about his outlook on the guys, I think that's what kind of swayed him, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely he's got us at 2, which I would say I would agree. I mean, but probably still go. I would say I'm high on us going into the season, but I still would probably go Texas 1, Alabama 2, but then I would have Georgia 3 and LSU 4. Those would be my top 4 right now in the conference. But yeah. I mean, shoot, we can send him a text. We'll see if he hop on. He could explain it himself. I will say this, though. I just got a text from Ryan Anderson, so we'll have him on next week, it looks like.
752.
Tide 100.9.
We'll be loaded next week, man. We got Bray Hubbard Monday. We'll have Ryan Anderson on. Y'all be ready for an exciting week next week, man. And welcome into this Free for All Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. Man, it's definitely a free for all Friday, man. I'm over here explaining my philosophy, all that stuff. But no, good stuff, man. See, I appreciate the feedback. Definitely always appreciate that. QD, what's up? He's in the chat. If you guys haven't already, check us out on YouTube, man, at the Miller's Edge. You can always hang out with us, hang out in the chat. And we're finally about to dive into this stuff, man. Really about to dive into it. All right, here we go. Coach Saban, again, real quick recap. Allegedly not fully done with coaching. That came from his former quarterback, Greg McElroy, on his show. Talked to some people really close to him. Said he has not hung up his whistle just yet. Well, we finally got Coach Saban's response. And this is what he had to say when he spoke with Fox News, I believe, yesterday regarding, or today maybe, I don't know, regarding his status and if he is completely done with coaching.
All right. President Trump signing an executive order to curb big money influence in college sports and provide some type of structure because the NCAA, in my opinion, has dropped the ball. The order prohibits a few things. For example, the executive order that came down late last night prohibits third-party pay-for-play deals, but allows fair market NIL, has some organization and criteria with it. It's going to direct the Labor Department and National Labor Relations Board to evaluate athletes' employment status. They have not made that conclusion yet. There is no union, and directs the Attorney General and FTC to protect student athletes' rights from antitrust litigation. And finally, the executive order will gain momentum after meeting. He gained momentum after meeting with Nick Saban earlier. And Joe Manchin also did a lot of work on this too before he left the Senate. So there needs to be structure in college sports. People are worried about Title IX, women's sports. They're also worried about non-revenue sports. So where do we go from here? What's it going to mean for college football? Let's ask the best in the business, former Alabama coach Nick Saban. Coach, one of the reasons I believe you left is because where college sports was going. What does this executive order do?
Well, I think, President Trump's executive order takes a huge step in, providing the educational model that has always been what we've sort of tried to promote to create opportunities for players, male and female alike, revenue and non-revenue, so that they can have development as people, students, and develop careers and develop professionally if that's what they choose to do. So I think we sort of need to make a decision here relative to, do we want to have an education-based model, which I think the president made a huge step toward doing that, or do we want to have universities sponsor professional teams? And I think most people would choose the former.
So right now, with name, image, and likeness, that changed things right away. Is there a clearinghouse now, a criteria for the University of Tennessee and Alabama? If they're going for players, do they have to have companies who want to be a part of that player's product to go through a qualification?
Yeah, I think the clearinghouse is there to authenticate name, image, and likeness. In other words, is your marketing value relative to what you're getting paid to do a marketing opportunity? That's where, when you cross that line, that's where it becomes pay for play. So you have collectives that raise money that pay players, and they really don't do a relative marketing job to earn that money. And that's where, this whole thing has kind of gotten sideways. And I think this whole clearinghouse is there to, sort of protect the collective, affecting competitive balance in college sports.
So there's all the money in football and basketball. They're the great revenue drivers. Are you concerned for the non-revenue sports? What's going to happen with Title IX? If you're going to have all these players making this money, Title IX says women have to have the same opportunities. What happens to those women's sports?
Well, I think that, I'm for keeping all the sports that we have, as many as that we can have. But, there are financial concerns relative to how many sports can you promote that don't create revenue. I think one of the things that people need to understand about college sports, they say it's a business, but it's really not a business. It's revenue producing, and 2 sports have created a revenue to have 20 other sports. And I think that's why it's important that we have a system in place. And I think, President Trump's made the first step, toward that. I think, the SCORE Act in Congress right now would be another step in that direction that would protect the opportunities that we've been able to provide for male and female non-revenue sports, because I think it's everybody's goal to keep all those opportunities intact.
One of the reasons, Coach, I've read that you left is where college sports was heading. You went to broadcasting, you're having a great time, but you look young. You look fresh, and there's opportunity. Almost every school would love the opportunity to hire you. Would you be open to ever coaching again?
It's amazing to me that came up in the media, and the media speaks for you and thinks for you. I never really ever had a thought about getting back into coaching until 2 days ago. Miss Terry said I had to run the sweeper in the entire downstairs. So while I was running the sweeper, the thought occurred to me, when you were coaching, you had a heck of a lot better job than this. So that's the only time I considered it.
Are you considering it again? So you'd give up the housework to maybe go back to grabbing the clipboard again?
No, I'm really happy with what I'm doing right now. It's exciting to still be involved in the game. It's exciting for me to work with athletic directors, conference commissioners, people in Congress to, preserve the integrity of our game and continue to be able to create, opportunities to help young people create value for their future that will help them be successful in their life, which is what we always try to do as a coach.
Yeah, and just so, Coach, you're not shutting the door on it, especially when your buddy Bill Belichick goes back to North Carolina. Does that make you more apt to say, hey, if the right opportunity comes, I could do it?
There is no opportunity that I know of right now that would enhance me to go back to coaching. I enjoy what I'm doing. I did it for 50 years. I loved it. I love the relationship with the players. I love the competition. But, it's another station of life now. And I enjoy what I'm doing right now and want to continue to do it, spend more time with my family, my grandchildren, my children. It's been really, really good.
You've certainly done it all. As a coach, there's nothing left to prove, that's for sure. Coach, thanks so much. I'd feel much better about college sports if you were directly involved in organizing it, because you know where to go. Thanks so much, Nick Saban, for joining us this morning.
I appreciate it, Brian. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
So there you go. There's his answer, man. And that dude definitely kept going. He was trying to get that clear yes or no, like Q Shep is saying in the chat right now. He wanted to hear him to say yes or no. I'll say this. I think it was pretty much like a 90. It's like a 95%. Well, let me be careful how I word this. 95% no that like he will not coach again. No, he does not plan on coaching. But to me, like when he did mention this, I don't see an opportunity out there right now that would really call his attention. I mean, some could kind of say, that wording, but after hearing the whole interview, because originally I just read the articles written, but after hearing that, I mean, the guy kept prying at it, and I think he kind of just was looking for other things to kind of throw in his answer, because the guy asked like 3 times. I mean, are you done? Or is there anything out there that make you coach again? You see Bill Belichick, like, he kept trying. So maybe he just kind of threw that in there. I don't see him coming back. I really don't. I mean, he made a good point about, look, I mean, everything he's doing right now. I mean, he probably has his handful still. I mean, media, I know people, see like the time he's on there, but in terms of the preparation, and, he still has, when he's prepping for those big things, I mean, he's studying film as if he was still coaching, right? I mean, it keeps him involved. I mean, I could even speak from, that perspective. Like when you do media as a, former player, former coach, man, it's nice because coaching, it keeps you, I mean, like, it's so demanding, the hours, versus with the media, you still do have to take a lot of time to prep and do a number of things, but it's night and days difference compared to full-fledged coaching. So there's your answer right there, man. I mean, I want to know what you guys think about that, though. Do you guys feel that answer we just heard from Coach Saban? Do you feel like that meant he fully shut the door, or do you feel like the door might be a little cracked still? Because he did say, I mean, right now I just don't see an opportunity, but he also said a whole bunch of other things of why he wouldn't go back in terms of spending time with his family, doing the media stuff, helping kind of create a better space for college athletics and improve it. So let me know. We got to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll respond a little bit more to that. Plus, dive in a little bit more to what he initially spoke about, and that was this new executive order that they're trying to get passed to further protect the game and help reel it back in, allegedly save the game, in the words of President Trump, right? We'll discuss that and more. Potential team moving to the SEC. We'll talk about who that is and what that can mean. Coming up, hour number 2 right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We'll be right back. Dude trying to get blood from a turnip. That dude interviewer he was trying to get it. The other thing, and I'll bring this back up when we come back, but you could tell he was a little agitated by when he made the comment about, I'll pull it back up. Hold on.
Exciting to still be involved in.
I've read that you left as where college.
Oh, wait, that was the other thing. This guy kept insinuating, I read or I saw that you left because of, what's happened with college athletics. And I've not seen any place where Coach Saban said that was one of the reasons he left. I've not seen one place. Anybody I've talked to personally, even including Coach, never mentioned anything about that being. I think that's more so other people insinuating that for him. But I don't think he ever said that was why. I know he mentioned when he's spoken to Congress and made comments about the state of college football and how it's not necessarily ideal, but he never made it seem. I don't know why this guy kept saying that. If anything, I know, knowing Coach, he probably was getting annoyed because he don't want people to think he left because of that reason. Because number one, he said himself, it was my age, right? My inability to consistently perform at the same level that I would want to perform at. I'm not just talking about him going out and having, a 10-2 or 11-1 record. I'm talking about day in and day out, showing up physically and being mentally able to sustain those long hours and everything that comes with it. Now, if you say, yes, NIL added another layer to coaching, something that, added even more pressure on him in terms of re-recruiting his team every year, worrying about contracts and this and that. Yeah, I mean, maybe because that adds to the load. But anyway, I don't like when people always say that, like, oh, well, you left because of this, because he never really said that. And to me, I'm just telling you, I know him. he don't want people to think that. That's because that makes him sound like, oh, he doesn't like the guys getting paid, or B, like he's like salty or something. No, bro. It's not. It was not that. He don't mind guys getting paid. It's like he said, it's supposed to be done a certain way.
Sports was heading. You went to broadcasting, you're having a great time. But you look young, opportunity to be open to ever coaching again.
You know, it's amazing to me that came up in the media, and the media speaks for you and thinks for you.
That part. I'm not going to lie to you. That kind of felt like he was throwing some shade at old G-Mac. Maybe not necessarily like him, but how everybody took it and ran with it, right? But, I mean, it started from his former quarterback. But you could tell, at least I can tell, because I've been around Coach Saban a long time.
I never really ever had.
When he said that, that's like him, like, because he's not going to do this on air, but you could tell he's irritated. I'm telling you right now, I know Coach Saban and his habits and mannerisms, man. That was one of him kind of being like, yeah.
You know, it's amazing to me that came up in the media, and the media speaks for you and thinks for you. I never really ever had a thought about getting back into coaching.
Listen, body language, facial expressions to say it all. Yeah, he ain't like that. People are speaking on his behalf. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. Exactly. He already said why. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. We just got done listening to Coach Saban, where he joined Fox News this morning, I believe it was, and he discussed a couple things, but the big thing that we were talking about was the rumors swirling about his return to coaching. He flat out said, nah, I don't plan on doing that. But some might argue he might have left the door cracked. I see here says, a smart man will never say never. Coach is a real smart man. And that's, a fair point. Like maybe he does, and it may look, I don't want to say this, right? But maybe it's one of those things where, like he mentioned, kind of basically what he said, like maybe if there was like some like dream scenario where everything he could ever imagine was in line, where he felt comfortable to do it, maybe one more time, two times, I don't know. Or maybe he's thinking, yeah, right now everything's perfect, but say in a year or two, he just has this burning itch maybe to do. I don't know. Maybe that's where that was coming from. But in all honesty, man, I think he means what he says. Now, some might say, whoa, look at the whole Miami thing. Well, yeah, I wouldn't argue that. But he said what he said. The other thing I just was mentioning was I definitely could sense that he was a little salty or throwing some shade maybe at GMAC, and how that whole rumor just took really, I guess, the world by storm. Everybody commented on him, and he's like, I haven't thought about it until I was running the sweeper. And that made him think, of course, man, he's always going to have a funny way of kind of bring Miss Terry in it, man. He does a good job with that. But anyway, a lot of you guys do in the chat do say 100% done. Matter of fact, all you guys think he's 100% done. So unfortunately, yeah, we probably won't see him coach anymore. But hey, man, just like the interviewer said, he's accomplished pretty much everything imaginable. I guess the only thing would be maybe a Super Bowl. Maybe you could say, yeah, but for what he did in college, I don't even think that matters, man. I think we're good without a Super Bowl coach. That being said, let's segue into some more stuff. He also was talking about what this new executive order means. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We are going to go to the phone lines, though, because I want to get you guys on. I know a few of you are lining up, so we'll do that. But we will dive into this whole executive order, because that is a new step, the next new step in trying to refine the game and the landscape of college athletics, try to tame it down a little bit. We'll see if it actually happens, but who knows, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. Normally, I would see the news of there being something signed on the federal level to help kind of confine what's going on right now. But I'll be honest with you, with the track record that we've seen recently, I feel like we always get these updates or these big, I don't know, news. It's just a lot of news and stuff like that. It's a lot of talk, right? But I feel like nothing's really changed. Even like what they're talking about. Like, I'm not gonna lie, maybe I was naive, but I was thinking the clearinghouse and all that stuff. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, we got the revenue sharing and we got the clearinghouse. Like, this is what we've been fighting for. But you still hear reports day after day, week after week, literally saying that other teams are still finding ways. And who was it that said that? It might have also been it might have been somebody on our show, but I feel like it was somebody like in the media that said it, that people still are going to find ways around it. And boy, you guys were right, the ones that said that. So it is what it is. But we'll find out sooner or later if this actually has an impact on college athletics. But we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that here in a minute. Plus, I did just mention that allegedly there's a team eyeing the SEC. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on this because personally, I wouldn't be against it, especially if, granted, this would come down the line. I don't even know if their coach would still be their coach, but if he was, I would love to see him in the SEC and what he would be able to do in this conference. We'll talk about that. But let's first go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Marty up first, I believe. Marty, welcome in.
Hey, how's it going today?
What's up, Marty?
I tell you what, if Saban ever coaches, it's going to be Pop Warner football with his grandkids.
Say that one more time. You said if he ever coaches again, what was the last part?
He's going to coach Pop Warner with his grandkids.
Well, look, does that count? If that counts, I definitely could see him returning. I mean, could you imagine being like Pop Warner, like middle school age, and having Coach Saban, the legendary Coach Saban, being y'all's coach, man? Like, that would be nuts.
Well, it's just like that one time in that one interview he said when he's with the Cleveland Browns. It was Christmas Eve night, and he was in a hotel in San Francisco, and he couldn't be around us. That's the first time he ever couldn't be at home at Christmas time with his kids. That's what he, 50 years he's been coaching, or 50, 60 years coaching. And now he gets to spend time with his kids, but his grandkids, and enjoy life. He got few years in front of, more years behind him than he got in front of him. I mean,
That's true. Yeah, and I don't understand why people don't understand that aspect, man. I mean, the demand as a coach. I mean, I'm just telling you, even as a player, which isn't even nearly as much as a coach, because they spend even more hours in the building doing all types of stuff, flying around, recruiting, right? Like, as a player, I can't tell you, like, when I was in college, I missed out on so many holidays. Like, I would be just watching, like, we didn't have a traditional Christmas because we always were playing in a bowl game, and we literally would fly. We would get a break like for a few days leading up to Christmas. Then we would have to fly like on Christmas Day and return back and get ready to fly out because we'd have to fly back to Tuscaloosa to get ready to fly to the location of the bowl game. I mean, literally, we missed out. I mean, like Thanksgiving, we had off, but a lot of guys that were from, too far, you only had like a day off. We still had practice the next day. If you were within a 3-hour range of driving, yeah, you could maybe zip home real quick for Thanksgiving and zip right back. But a lot of other guys, you had to celebrate Thanksgiving here, which the coaches did a great job putting it on. But what I'm getting at is, man, like, you sacrifice so much when you're truly a part of a team in this game of football. I mean, it's literally like year round. And so he did it for years, man, and at a really high level. He wasn't taking vacations like that. Like, yeah, they took their like little vacation here and there, but like he missed out on a lot of things, like you just mentioned. And I think he really is enjoying finally having that time with his family.
Like what you said, you played. Your dad played 9 years in the NFL, had to take time away, and then you played. Then you played 4 or 5 years with the Panthers, and that took time away. It's like you now. You're enjoying sitting back on your easy chair, talking on the radio, and then giving tips to your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that you can't take away. I mean, there's where he, like you, I mean, you're young, but your dad's not young. You only got so many years left.
Yeah.
And you want to enjoy them. I mean, it's not like, and that's like, I think what he knows, he missed out, not that he missed out a lot, I don't know, but, like he's, like what, this and that one there. But let me ask you one quick question, and you can think about it over the weekend when we'll talk. What team in the SEC, that from one to all of them, do you think not going to achieve what they want to achieve, going to underachieve? And what team do you think is going to overachieve?
Man, that's that's a really good question. Oh man, I hate questions like this because it makes you think so hard. And I mean, it's like my dad was saying last time he was on, man. There's really truly no way of knowing, right? I mean, like, there's no way of knowing who's going to be what. We can look at, preseason rosters, we can look at what they did last year, who's returning, you know what I mean, schedules, but there's really just no way to really know. So look, I'll say this. I could be totally wrong, I could be close, I could be exactly spot on, but I would say in terms of a team that could underachieve, I'm going to be drastic when I say this, but I feel like Georgia to me has a lot of question marks, and I say this all the time. I think they're going to be good, but to me, underachieving for them would be, losing. How many did they lose last year? Was it 2? I mean, I could see Georgia potentially losing 3, maybe. Right? I don't think that happens, but I think that it's a possibility. Right? I feel like they do have a lot of question marks that they got to figure out. I mean, last year the running game was non-existent. How is that going to look this year? They've got a new quarterback taking over who, to me, I mean, he's not like an elite. When I say he's not an elite thrower of the football, I think he can make the throws, but it's not like you look at him and you're like game planning against him. And I know how important it is establishing a running game for a new quarterback. So we'll have to see. I think the defense will be sound and probably have to help them out tremendously. But even last year, I mean, they were in a lot of tight games last year, and I just don't see them looking much better than they did last year, if at all. So would it shock me if they underachieved? No. Now, when I say that, I don't think they'd be like bad. I'm just saying they might not be what some people have them as, because a lot of people have them like number 2 in the conference. If they finished at like 4th in the conference, I would consider that potentially underachieving, and that wouldn't necessarily shock me. I'm sure there's probably better examples I could choose, but off the top of my head, that's one. I mean, if you consider Tennessee, Tennessee to me, I feel like they're kind of trending downhill. I just don't know if people would be too shocked given that they lost their top quarterback. In terms of a team that could overachieve, man, I hate to say this, but I think Auburn could potentially overachieve. I know you look at Auburn and they've been struggling, but they bring in Jackson Arnold. They went to the portal. They got a number of guys that they brought in that could be plug-and-play players. I think if they can get Jackson Arnold to play up to his potential, he hadn't really done that just yet in his career, but if they can get him to do that, I think he gives him a much better chance of having some success this year. So they would probably be my pick to probably overachieve, and I think it's probably really like a do or die for them. So they probably have to do that if they want Hugh Freeze and company around. Now, I don't know the buyout situation or whatever the case may be, but I feel like there's a growing sense of urgency from that fan base, and I think it actually is important that they probably do find a way to overachieve. But I would probably say Auburn could potentially surprise some people. Them or Oklahoma. I know Oklahoma, some people have them higher than others, but I think Oklahoma as well, those two teams.
I'll give you my 2.
Yeah.
LSU's going to underachieve. LSU's going to underachieve. They'll lose 5 games.
Oh, 5.
Overachieve. Yep, they're going to lose that first one. They're going to be that first one, and then, hey, listen to the radio station after that first game. They're going to hang them. That'd be 5 years in a row they've lost the first game. And the other team to overachieve is your dad's South Carolina.
See, I looked at them, Marty, but to me, I'll be honest with you, they lost a lot on that defense. Obviously, still they got Dylan Stewart, who's their key piece, but they lose a lot on defense. And I don't know, like when you say overachieve, to me, overachieving for them, I guess, what do they? I don't even know what their predicted over under was, but I probably should have gone off of that. But to me, I feel like they'll probably fall like on an average year personally, and it could be a little bit better than average because they got Lenore Sellers and some other pieces that could help them out. But I'm looking at them more of like that 8-9 win range personally. And to me, I don't know if I would call it overachieving, but that's just my perspective. But I respect it though. So you got South Carolina overachieving.
Yep, and LSU underachieving. It's going to be Brian Kelly last year.
Oh, man, I don't know about that.
Yep. Wait till that. I'll tell you what. They lose that first game. Turn on WWE, the big one out of New Orleans, and listen to the post game show because they're going to lose that first one.
I'm definitely gonna be watching, Marty. Don't worry. I'm gonna be watching because I know a lot of
Hey,
people.
don't forget, we got to eat lunch because I got to pick your brain. Oh, I know what I want to ask you, and your dad's not there, so I can ask you. Was he ever in the Hall of Fame game?
You're talking about up in what is it? Where at Canton?
Canton, Ohio. Yeah, I was born there. I only lived 2 miles away from that, but my dad and grandma would never let me go.
I don't know if he's ever been. I've never been, so I don't know. I'll have to ask him. But I'm gonna make sure he's on here Monday, hopefully, because I know we got Bray Hubbard coming on. Should be around 12 o'clock midway through the show. So we can ask him then. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I have to ask him.
I like talking to your dad.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he's a good time, man. His plan is to be on here more during the year. So again, we'll hold him to it, man. Y'all keep complaining about it, and I think he'll start hearing it. Because what happens is sometimes he's listening, and then he hears you guys talking, and then he ends up calling in. So we'll get him on one way or another, man.
He'll start calling in during football season and pick his bones on you because we picked the wrong team, and he goes, we don't have no Jimmy and Joe. That's why I tell them, I go around these high school, we're going around these high school things, and some of them I say, you know what? I said, Coach, you got any Jimmy and Joes out there? And one player said, what's a Jimmy and a Joe? I said, they're all stars, and I don't think you got any out here, so you may not win a lot of games, but y'all play hard.
Dang.
They get mad at me, but I get that from your dad. I go around and just keep them mad. That's like I got on my Alabama shirt on today. A lot of people say, why don't you wear that Arkansas stuff? I said, man, look, y'all ain't going to win 5 games. Why should I root for someone that hasn't won a national championship since '64, and they had to be put on the 5th page of the paper of the thing to get a national championship?
Dang.
But your dad, I'm like your dad. I get on him when they want to talk about Alabama, but I imagine he gets on them when we want to talk about South Carolina too. So.
Oh yeah, we've had a couple people ruffle his feathers, no pun intended, because they fired some shots back at his Gamecocks, and you could tell it got under his skin a couple of times. But don't worry, we're gonna save that ammunition for that week, man. When we face them going down there, we're gonna have that stuff ready for him, man. Marty, we appreciate you, man. You have a great weekend.
All right, it's so nice when we put Alabama so high up in the clouds that he has to bring us back down to earth. Hey, roll Tide, and I'll yell at you. Hey, you have a good weekend, okay?
Yes, sir. You too, buddy. Thank you. All right, good deal. Quick time out. We'll be right back. Let's see. Overachieving, underachieving. That's a good question. Let me pull up these win totals, though. I know people probably think I'm tripping when I say Georgia, but again, that's why I said when I say underachieving, I'm not saying like drastically dropping off. I'm just saying maybe not. To me, underachieving would be if people are predicting them to be a top 2 SEC team, but they finish outside of that. That's underachieving. That's where I get that from. Let me clarify that because I don't want people to think I'm like, oh, Georgia, but I'm not saying they lose like 4 or 5 games. Not saying that. I'm just saying them not really being in the conference championship scene, and hell, maybe they swap kind of how we looked last year, right? Maybe they take on that 9-3 thing and they're trying to fight to get in there. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let me see these SEC over-unders, though. Yeah, like Georgia's over-under is 9.5. Ours is 9.5. Texas 9.5. Damn, Auburn's was 8. Yeah, maybe I should have picked somebody else. I didn't think they're expected to win 8. South Carolina's a 7.5. So if that's the case, yeah, South Carolina is a good choice too. South Carolina would definitely be a good one there. We hadn't heard that Colin Cowherd theory. I know we just heard Coach Saban shut it down. We should have listened to this first, but maybe we'll dive into that. All right, got a couple things we'll hit. Here's if you guys haven't seen it already, this is Greg Burns' response to the executive order. University of Alabama applies this executive order from President Trump to help ensure a long-term sustainable model of intercollegiate athletics. We are proud of our broad-based athletic programs and, excuse me, sorry guys, strongly support future regulatory and congressional action that will preserve these opportunities for student athletes. So some optimism from Greg Byrne on behalf of the new executive order. I'm just, man, I'll be honest, guys. I'm just so tired of the talk, man. I guess this is considered action. I mean, he signed an order, but I'm just like, bro, figure something out, man. Like I just genuinely don't understand why. I mean, like maybe it's the legality of it. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I just feel like
We're storm.
I feel like it's been made so it's been overcomplicated, man. Like, and I guess that's probably the legality of it, right? I mean, because I get it. The NCAA just got sued for billions of dollars from, impeding and prohibiting players from making money, so they got to walk a fine line. But and welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Support Experts. Don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are in the market for some premium cigars, best humidor in the Southeast, you got to check out R&R Cigars. Right now, 2703 Gary Fitz Street here in Tuscaloosa is where you can find them. They've got the best humidor in the Southeast. They've got over 160 bourbons that you can choose from right there. They've always got the TVs going with plenty of sport events, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, even the UFC fights. If you're a big fight fan, you got to check them out there as well, because they put them on for you. One of the only places here in town that will have that stuff there for free, right? These other places, man, they don't really put these fights on anymore. So make sure you guys check out R&R Cigars for all that stuff. Place to fellowship, hang out, watch sports, man, enjoy a nice stick and a nice drink. You can't beat it. Plus, when you go to their website right here, rnrcigars.com, you can type in that code Miller's Edge. Again, code Miller's Edge for 20% off your orders. So don't miss out on that. Again, if you're looking for a gift, some sticks for you, whatever the case may be, you literally are getting a discount provided by us, right? Like, use that code and you get a discount. Like, it's for you guys. So make sure you guys take advantage of that code Miller's Edge, rnrcigars.com. Again, that's R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider, talking too fast, of Alabama football since 2014. All right. Back to what we were talking about real quick. We're going to go to the phone lines, but Greg Byrne responded to the executive order from Trump. Says the University of Alabama applies this executive order from President Trump to help ensure a long-term sustainable model of intercollegiate athletics, and we are proud of our broad-based athletics programs and strongly support future regulatory and congressional action that will preserve these opportunities for student athletes. So he's definitely on board for it. Obviously, anytime there's a chance to help, pave the way for a better environment regarding college athletics, preserving sports, getting it under control, I'd imagine he's going to be for it. And so it looks like he's voicing his support for it there. Again, we will talk a little bit more details on it moving forward. But first, let's go back to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Smitty up next. Smitty, welcome in.
Hey, what's going on, Christian? How's it going?
Oh, man, I'm great, brother. How are you?
One thing about Saban, I don't think a lot of people realize the man just had his first coaching job as a GA in 1973. And I had to look him up. And I think he was married just about as long, right? And so imagine the sacrifices his wife had to make with time and vacations and all that family stuff all those years. Mm-hmm. And now he's able to give that stuff while he still has his health. True. And I think people aren't factoring that stuff in because loved ones make a lot of sacrifices, even as a player. And I think people got to understand that. And like you said, today's college football is a young coach's game, the way it is now. The way you have to, you got to play these players more. you got to like kind of kiss their butts the whole year because you're recruiting them every single day, so they won't hop in the portal in October. You know, so I think. And plus, Nick Saban wanted to be like Bill Parcells, where he said, "Hey, if I gotta cook the food, I should buy the groceries too." And you need that GM and that staff like you do now, instead of like back then when things are different.
Yeah, 100%. And you're 100% right. I mean, look, 73 to 2023. I mean, that's 50 years, right, of coaching. That's 50 years of sacrificing, missing out on, so many different things. Now, granted, like I can speak from experience, like. When we would travel, Miss Terry would be, there with Coach Saban, right? His daughter would try, like, they would travel to games, but like, think about how much different that is compared to like people that can go home every night and go sit. Granted, he used to go home and talk about watching series. Matter of fact, one time we were on the way, on the way to play somebody. I forgot who it was, and I was on the plane. I was watching some movie, and I can't remember if they were behind me or beside me, but I was watching something, and I guess they caught their attention because they asked like what I was watching. I was like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure. I just clicked it on the play and I pulled up, and they're like, "Oh, that's something we need to watch and add it to our list." So I mean, like, he spends time with his wife. Or when he was coaching, he spent time with Miss Terry, like go home and watch a series. But that's what he would do. He literally would get home. I think he said around like 8 or something, eat, and then they'd turn on a series, and he's like falling asleep. Like that's sacrificing a lot. And you're right, man. I mean, you can't get those years back. All you can do is moving forward, try to enjoy as much as you can. I think that's really what he's trying to focus on right now.
Yeah, and like with the President Trump and this whole NIL thing, I think the big issue that people are forgetting about is not necessarily the money. It's the immediate eligibility for guys that can transfer 2 and 3 times.
Right.
And because I think if you not saying you got to make, I don't think you say, "Hey, you got to stay here 2 years." I say you get 1 free transfer, and that you have, because to me you got to have some stability there. And no one's talking about are you graduating, because every school, like if you transfer from Alabama to, I could say, Miles College, will they take all your transcripts? Every credit will transfer over. You don't know, and so how many of these kids may not be graduating? Mm-hmm. And I think that would make things more strategic. Well, hey, I might well stick this out, see what happens, because if I burn it this quick over something emotional, I may have to sit out another year, and there ain't no more super seniors now.
Right. Which that is a problem in itself, because that's caused issues for high school recruiting. I mean, like, it's a domino effect. I mean, this thing doesn't just affect one person or one team or one group. I mean, it's a domino effect. I will say this. I think you're on the right track. To me, like when I was in school, before all this nonsense, you could, as a graduate, you could transfer without penalty, right? You could play immediately if you already graduated, which I thought that made sense. So that's really all you were seeing. Like, when I was in school, we hardly had any guys really transfer out the program. If anything, the only guys we had transferring were graduate guys. Like Jake Coker, I don't remember if he had graduated. No, I think he was graduate. Yeah, he graduated. And so he transferred in. We had like Dominic Jackson. We signed him from JUCO, but Richard Mullaney, he was a graduate transfer. You guys remember him, play wide receiver. Garrick Dieter, he also was a graduate transfer, I believe. All these guys are graduates, so it made sense. And look, they played a few years at their prior college. Then they wanted to get another opportunity, and it helped us out. We needed some kind of, immediate guys, some older veterans. And to me, that was fine. There was no issue with that. I think it's hard to just go all the way back. But to me, like what you're saying is on the right track. I think maybe give guys the ability, like 1 free transfer, because you never know what can happen, right? Maybe it's just not a good fit. Maybe guys are homesick. Maybe, who knows, right? But 1 free transfer. And then after that, you either you're sitting out a whole year, right? Or if there's some like clearance, like say you could try to fight for the ability to transfer and it's justified, right? Obviously it'd have to be approved by somebody or whatever to give you that, kind of like what it used to be, right? Like, for example, one of my teammates, like Mo Smith, he wanted to transfer to Georgia and they had to go back and forth. I think he finally got cleared to do it, but it's only under certain circumstances. I think you could maybe look at that. But in terms of like, when you mentioned like the paying the guys, the problem with it is kind of like Coach Saban was saying in that video. It's that people are just raising money in the collective to pay guys, and that's coming from money they're not doing real acts of service. Like we are seeing more things. Like, for example, we just saw a commit, Xavier Griffin, who put out another thing that he doubled down on his commitment. Now, with all due respect, I don't want to sound like I'm being funny when I say this, but I'm not sure like what entailed that. You know what I mean? But to me, it sounds like I know Yay Alabama was connected to the post of him posting that. Maybe that was a way for them to, I don't know, justify compensating him for something. And I'm not trying to put rumors or you know, I'm just wondering because I was kind of curious that he did a post. He just committed to us like less than a month ago, and then he's doing another thing saying like he's doubling down on it. And Yay Alabama is connected to the post. Yay Alabama is the source for our collective and all that stuff, right? So, I think what Coach Saban is just saying, look, we just approved the revenue sharing. Let the revenue sharing be the source. Like that. It is what it is. That's what we've been working on. And if guys want to get true deals, right? If Domino's wants to pay a guy $5,000 to sponsor him during the season to do an Instagram post after every game talking about, oh, I can't wait to eat this Domino's pizza after this. We just dominated our opponent. They need to pay me if they use that thing. That's legit. But all this other stuff where it's like a collective's paying guys $200,000 for him to attend one thing per year, that's not accurate. You see what I'm saying? And that needs to be fixed.
I'll say is also, it's like people understand these NIL deals for these collectives are pretty much the equivalent of having a bake sale. You having regular people donate money. And if things get tight, that money ain't coming. And I don't care how much oil money Texas has. You got a bunch of guys saying, yeah, I'll play this year, I'm out, and I'll go somewhere else. They're not going to keep giving money because these guys have become billionaires by being silly and throwing back money away. And but the one piece of regulation, you probably heard this more than the average person. They need regulation on these agents because they need to be like the pro certified. They should be getting 3% like in the pro leagues instead of like 30 or plus or whatever. And they need to have, and these guardrails actually protect kids because we hear so many stories of these guys not getting their money or being taken by a shady agent who's not a real agent, just a guy saying boards to the back say you get this money. It should be, that's the structure also that people aren't looking at. They just say pay, pay, pay. But what about the protections for these people whose parents may not have come up affluent or had like lawyers and stuff in their family where they can know what's going on and not be taken advantage of? Because in the NFL, NBA, whatever, hey, your agent don't get so much. Your deal's got to get approved by the league office in the pros. So
that's true.
That's something that they need to look at as well, protect these kids. Now, that's one reason many of these kids enter the portal because they ain't getting the money that was promised to them.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I've spoken to a number of people about how this works, right? People that are in, college athletics, and they've said just that. I mean, you literally have people that are working on behalf of these players. And sometimes I don't even know if these players really know all this stuff because what they do is they'll just jump around and they'll send out things, say, hey, I got a group of guys who are looking into the transfer. And if you guys, and they're saying it's like coaches, right? Like, or representatives from schools. And I don't even think half the time these players really know. I think these agents are just like, hey, if I could get you some more money, would you be interested in maybe playing somewhere else? And then if the kid's just like, sure, I guess, they go on with it. And they said they're doing all this work. So you're right. The agents, man, and there's some good ones, right? There's some authentic ones, but there's a lot of people in the space that probably have no business being in it, and they are not helping whatsoever. And you're right. That needs to be regulated and definitely handled accordingly because that's a problem. And to your previous point too, I forgot to mention the biggest issue to me also with this is that in college, like in the NFL, like guys, you sign contracts, right? And then contractually, like you're at a place. Like in college, it makes no sense that these guys can get paid all types of money. There was no such thing as a salary cap, and then there was no obligation for you to actually stay at your school. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the most like messed up system that you can come up with. Like, there's no security for the schools. They keep paying and paying and paying, and then there's no security for them. That, to me, also needs to get cleaned up. And so, who knows? I'll be honest with you, though. I haven't heard enough out of this executive order to make me feel confident that it's going to clean up this stuff. I'll be honest with you. I still think we're a ways from that, but hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully that's not the case.
And my last thing is, thanks for taking my call. But the thing is, like we talk about, people are like, the coaches can move around. well, we don't see too many head coaches switch jobs every year. And if Caleb Boyd left Alabama, he owes them money. If Alabama fires Caleb Boyd, they have to pay him money. And the other thing with contracts that help protect the players, if the coach says, I'm letting you go, you probably got to pay the player some of that money. So he ain't left empty-handed. So now a coach could tell a player to move on. He doesn't get any more of that money. And I think people don't, it's like they were saying, folks want to be a business until it becomes a business. And it goes both ways.
True.
And I think what happens is these young people, sometimes it's best to stay because you can build so many connections.
Mm-hmm.
You could, like yourself, you won a couple of championships, finished your career at Alabama. Look where you're working at now. If you went to 3 schools in 4 years, who's your connection?
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Yeah, ask Isaiah Bond how that's working out right now. He didn't get drafted. We know why. But where's his fallback at a connection? Because he could have been, him and Miro could have been living the next 40 years on signing Daniel Moore pitchers for that 4th and 31.
No, you're right. And then I would argue, even though, and to be fair, I mean, obviously he's facing some legal stuff, right? And I don't want to dive too deep into that.
Yeah.
And I don't condone any of that crap. But I would argue, though, if he was in one place and had stronger relationships and connections, you know, he's obviously going through some stuff. It probably would feel a little bit, he'd probably have a little more security knowing that he could probably get the help he needs, not just on a legal, standpoint, but some character stuff that he probably, you know what I mean? I feel like you know what I'm saying? Like people to help him, maybe because people deserve second chances. I know Coach Saban was a strong advocate for that, but you're right. When you don't have a strong backbone or a place to fall back on, man, it's hard to really to point him in the right direction. I mean, yeah, I guess he's got resources here, but you're right, man. That was a missed opportunity, knowing that Bama fans, man, would have. I mean, dude, like you said, Daniel Moore, Prince. I mean, signings, right? A-day appearances. All because of that one place last season. And it's kind of like, well, all that's kind of gone out the window. But no, you're right, brother. You're right with everything you said. I'm grateful. My dad definitely told me that when he was helping me through my recruitment process. And he always told me, it's a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision. And I'm glad that, I was able to have that type of advice from somebody like him, because it definitely helped keep me grounded when I was waiting my turn through my process, just knowing that it's a long game that I'm playing, right? Not a short one.
Hey, but thanks for taking my call. You guys have a good weekend. Keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Always, man. Appreciate you, Smitty. Good deal. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. We've got a couple more folks to get to on the phone line, 205-342-9904. We'll be right back. Did y'all see this? Looks like we just picked up another recruit. Flipped a tackle. 6'7", 315. Talk about checking the boxes for stature, man. Give that a big old fat check. 6'7", 315. I mean, that's like the perfect offensive tackle size that you could ask for. Height and weight, man. Check those boxes. Now, again, for y'all say I'm chapsticking, man. I'm just talking about the stature, man. I've not been able to see the young man yet. I'm just saying, 6'7", 315. That checks the boxes for height, weight, stature, all that stuff. When you talk about offensive tackle, man. But let's look him up real quick. We got we got about a minute or two before we come back. What's his name? Bear Fretwell. Damn, we took him from Coach Key. Damn. Sorry, Coach Key. I like Coach Key, man, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. All right, we got a quote from him. We'll read that. All right, let's see. I'm trying to pull up his huddle, though. I want to see him in action. You guys know how we like to do. Want to see him in action. Where's his huddle at? Is this him? Bear Fretwell. Why is it not loading? Hold on, let me try it again. Bear Fretwell huddle. All right, here we go. If it'll load, why is this thing not loading though? Hold on, I'm trying to pull up his there it goes. All right. Well, he's 6'7", 290 on here. And I was just about to say that. Now you can't always trust the weight. So I mean, he could be 315, could be 295, could be 300, who knows? But still, he'll put the weight on regardless when he gets there. Do his highlights want to play for us? Come on, man. Brooklet, Georgia. I mean, I don't know why this is acting so slow like this, guys. If I can get these highlights pulled up, I'm going to get them on the screen for you. Hold up. Here we go. I think we got them.
205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752.
Chase, if we can, let's just combine breaks right here.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Hey, Julian. Good to have you in here. And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, guys, quick little breaking news we got here. This happened about 45 minutes ago. Alabama has landed yet another commitment, this time coming from offensive tackle Bear Fretwell out of Brooklet, Georgia. He was previously committed to Georgia Tech. Not very long, I guess, since June 15th. So about 5 weeks he was committed there. And looks like he's had a change of heart. And he's coming on over to the Crimson Tide. So I'll put his highlights up here on the screen. So, again, he's an offensive tackle, 6'7", 315. You talk about the stature, right? We talk about checking boxes. Well, we can check that now. His huddle says 290. I would say he's probably fluctuating 300, 305, 315, whatever. So tells me he's a little bit more lean, especially at 6'7", which is fine. He'll put on some weight when he gets here, probably be 315 to I don't know, maybe even 330-ish. At 6'7", I mean, 330 is not what you guys probably think, right? That's still great size, but sounds like the stature comes off as a little bit more on the athletic side of things, but I'm going to play his highlights right here. Definitely a tall kid, you can tell. Yeah, he's definitely a little bit leaner right now, but getting a little physical down the field right there. Let's see. This could take a second, so I don't want to bore you guys with this, but I'll let it play. If you guys want to watch, we're watching on the live stream at the Miller's Edge on YouTube. You see him right there coming off the ball. So far, all these are some running highlights. Is this the right video I'm looking at? This is junior highlights. It looks like it is. I'll be honest with you, though. He's definitely, from the first few plays, I'll keep that running. I'm just going to be completely transparent with you guys. You guys know how I am. He's definitely raw. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be more of a developmental guy, like guy you're going to definitely work with, right? I mean, I would not by any means expect him to be somebody you think he's going to come in and be your tackle day one, right? But in terms of tools and things he can work with, I mean, he's got the right size, right stature, but in terms of his ability on the field, I'm just completely transparent. Pretty raw. He's going to need to be refined. He's going to have to work on a lot of fundamentals and stuff, but he plays hard, and he's got some stuff he can work with. So there you go. Let's go to the phone lines. I don't want to waste too much time. 205-342-9904. We got Philip on the line. Philip, welcome in. Philip, you with us? Going once, twice. Philip, if you dropped, you can circle back, man. I know you probably are waiting for a little minute, but yeah, feel free to circle back. Mike says, Christian, what do you look for in these high school highlights, man? Great question. So really the same stuff I'll look for anytime I break down anything, whether it's, college, whatever. It's all going to be based off of, number one, position, right? Two, and then so let me backtrack. So depend on the position, that's what I'm looking for. But I'm looking at key fundamentals, Mike, but the biggest thing is people have to understand, like when you watch stuff, you also are looking and thinking like not only what they're doing now. Sometimes I think people, when you watch high school tape, it's a little bit different because yes, you're looking at what they're doing in the moment, but you have to also be able to see how that translate and think about how that will translate at the next level. When I'm watching college, it's a little bit different. I'm not, at least when I'm talking about game prep. Now, if I'm looking at a guy in terms of like for the NFL draft, it kind of goes back to how I'm watching the high school tape. But to answer your question, yeah, it's just really fundamentals. Just, how they play, if they have a motor or not, like there's a number of different things. But for like a tackle, right? Like let's start there. I mean, I'm going to look at number one is run blocking because when he's going to be asked to do two different things, run block, pass protect, right? So I'm looking at both of those things. How's he coming off the ball? I mean, what kind of pad level is he playing with? Is he a physical player? Is he finishing blocks? Is he playing to the whistle, right? How is his hands? Does he work with, good hand usage, right? What's his first step like? How quick does he fire off the football? You know what I mean? If it's a guard, you want to look at their ability to pull, right? Like how much space can he take up? You know what I mean? Like there's a number of things that you like that they're going to be expected to do at the next level. That's what I'm looking at. For a wide receiver, right? I mean, what's their release look like? How do they play against, man coverage? How do they do against a guy that's pressing them, right? What's his catch ability, right? What's his yard after catch ability? Can he make plays after he catches the football? What's his game speed like? Can he create separation? It's going to vary player by player or position by position, I should say. Offensive line, I'll be honest with you, man. When you look at tape on offensive linemen, it's more so a lot of the time, man, you're looking, are they physical? They come off the football. In the running game, you get what I'm saying? Because really, like a lot of that stuff in the running game, you can coach, right? Like technique-wise, you can coach. When it comes to like pass pro, I mean, you're looking like footwork is a big one. Their flexibility at the hips, at the ankles. Can they bend? Is he stiff? Those are big things because it tells you, or at least gives you an idea on like how much you can kind of work with them on. Like if a guy is stiff, I'm gonna be honest with you, you can get him to do yoga and stretch and do a lot of stuff to try to help that. But most of the time, if a guy's stiff, doesn't have great change of direction, you can improve it, but it doesn't just fix it. You know what I mean? So you got to look at stuff like that. You mentioned like the competition. You definitely take that into consideration. But you always just know, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be one of the best guy or the best guy, right? There's a reason that they're getting recruited by the University of Alabama. But you do take into consideration if a guy's playing 2A football versus if a guy's playing, 5 or 6A football, 7A, I think, here in Alabama. But those are some things. I mean, obviously, outside linebacker, I can say that I could break that down all day. First step, quickness, lateral quickness. Can he drop in coverage, right? How's he tackle? Is he physical? What's his bend ability? Can he get up? Can he get off the ball? What's his hand? What are his hands like? Right? I mean, is it a guy? Does he look like he has a frame that he's going to grow into more of an interior guy? Does he look like he might grow into more of off-ball guy? Does he have versatility there? Stuff like that, man. So there's a number of things that you look at. But really good question. I think we got Ellis on the phone lines. Ellis, you with us?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Ellis?
Not much. What about Tommy being on the YouTube?
I can't believe it, bro. I'm still trying to figure out like who taught him how to use YouTube so fast, man. I think, and I don't know if his account is the one I saw like Tommy, and I forgot the last name, but I'm like, is he even commenting? If so, man, I'm blown away.
Yeah, I am too. You go, Tommy.
I know, man. Good for Tommy, man. We got Tommy moving on. I told him, and one day I'm gonna end up sending him a link. We'll have him here on the show. I'm gonna let him co-host one day, man.
Yeah,
that might be a little bit too much for you. We might need to actually physically be there to help him get that set up. But we'll do something one day.
But how many times did Coach Saban have to say no earlier when you played that?
Too many times. Way too many times.
Like I told Chase, if it'd been the old Nick Saban, that man would have got an earful. I mean, a earful. You remember how he was about answering stupid questions? He couldn't stand it.
Well, that's why I was even wondering if he was going to comment on it. The guy kept saying, "Well, I read that you got out of it because NIL," like basically insinuating that he stopped coaching. Excuse me. specifically because of that. And that I've never heard him say that, and I know that's not the case. So
it ain't. He said if it got to the point where he couldn't be competitive, that he was screwed, that he'd hang it up. And that's what he done.
And that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't even. I'm surprised he didn't check the guy, but I don't blame him. He didn't need to, though. It's not worth it.
No, but you remember how the old coach was, though. He'd give him an ear pull.
Oh yeah.
But it's getting closer, Christian.
We're almost there, brother. We're almost there. About 5 days away from training camp kicking off, man.
Yeah, and then I'm getting to go to the practice facility Monday the 4th.
Wait, really?
Next month.
Who set that up? Who are you going with?
It's through Alabama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Are y'all getting to go to a practice, or is it during the day that it's maybe a little bit more laid back?
What I seen, it's like a media day.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, I'll make sure I'll head up. I'll head up there, that way I can come hang out with you, man.
It says if you want to, you can run a drill or two. But
no, wait. They said that? Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. Yes.
No, Ellis. No. Hell no, Ellis. Your ass is running that drill. I'm gonna go up there to watch it, Ellis. Nah, I need you to run that drill. Matter of fact, I'm gonna run the drill for you. I'm gonna put you through the drill. Yes, sir. No, we're doing that drill, Ellis. I'll even bring my cleats. I'll do it with you. Now we gotta do that drill. Bring what size shoe you wear, Ellis?
Shoe 10.5.
Damn. I was going to say, if I had some cleats, if you wore my size, man, I'd bring you some cleats and everything. We'd get to work, brother.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I thought, it's for the Alabama members, so.
That's a good incentive. That'll get some people to sign up. Shoot, let them go run some football drills.
But yeah, I was kind of worried about saying something on the air about it, but, I got to thinking, well, maybe if people knew that, there'd be a lot more sign up, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that. If it's something they're offering, man, hell, yeah, ain't nothing. You can say that.
It's no from problem. 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on the 4th.
Well, I'll make sure I head up that way on the 4th, man. I'll come hang out with you, man. I want to see you go through that drill, though, man. Don't be scared now, Ellis. I'm telling you, I don't know what drills. They probably got some little basic ones because they don't want nobody to get hurt. But I'll put you through some hoop drills, some pass rush work. I'll let you hit the bags. Hold on, man. You might have to make me. I might bust out my coaching skills, man. I helped train Braswell for the draft, brother. I ain't put you through some drills now.
Yeah. Crack that. Yeah. But hope you have a good weekend, and we'll talk at you next week.
Absolutely, brother. You as well, man. I appreciate you as always.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, brother. Good deal. All right, we got to get out of here. We got T-Town Sports Daily coming up next right here. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC again. Ending things on a positive note recruiting-wise. Bear Fretwell has flipped to Alabama. So there you guys go. Recruiting news heading on into the weekend. We will see you guys Monday, where we will have Bray Hubbard joining us here on the show. Make sure you guys don't miss that. 12 o'clock. So midway through the show, Bray Hubbard will be joining us here on the Miller's Edge. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded for that. Some good football talk coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll see you guys then.